Good evening, everybody, and welcome to JACKOCAR, where I promise you have the two liveliest sounding commentators you're ever going to hear. It's round 7, it's the Cup Series, it's Season 9, and Owen Wyatt is here. Good evening, Owen.
Old man Jacko there, and soon to be old man Owen with him. You can tell we're in our last year of operation, can't you? We used to be young, we used to be strong, we used to not nap in the middle of the afternoon, Jacko. At least my excuse is that I've been at work all day, earning some money. But he's just been asleep all day. But we're here, we're in Austria, we're early in Austria. This is not the end of the regular season. In fact, it's the start of the Tesco Club Card Shootout, which Jacko's excited about, which I still find quite funny that it exists. But it's a new beginning for that. And yeah, Austria, nice and early in the season. It's caught a few drivers off guard, and Corey, for one, is not happy.
Yes, well, I'm glad you pointed out the fact it is the Club Car Shootout, because I forgot. I also like to alight your attention to the fact that I have been to work today, and it is indeed the evening, so the little hour and a half nap that I got in prior to 7 p.m. has done absolutely wonders, but if anything, it was cut awfully short, as we see OKK leave to go on to do his outlap here in the wonderful Austria, of course, renowned for being round 10 or round 9, depending on when the regular season ends and how long the season actually is. But of course, I promised these drivers a mystery calendar. And as to why I've put Austria in the 7th slot, it's a mystery to me as well, because I do like tradition. But here we are. And yeah, that's all I have for you. Actually, no, it's not. I have 4 jokers for you tonight. Mr. Wyatt, would you like me to read them to you?
If you'd like, yeah.
I would. Okay, so they are currently lost. Here they are. Arnaud de Grief, Ben Harrott, the league's bad boy Waze, and this man, Michael OKK.
No, OKK is just locked up his front tyres just for the fun of it, I think, on that island. That's not exactly ideal. This isn't a throwback week, is it? We've abandoned this idea, haven't we?
Correct,
Another
because the
part of your tradition that you've got rid of.
The templates are awful, aren't they? So that's
but
why.
I am just looking at OKK's car, and I'm sure maybe he has intended to do it, but that's a Vodafone McLaren, just because of the front end alone. He's got the closest thing to a Vodafone logo on that.
Well,
and that's about as close to a throwback I guess we're able to get on this game.
It is actually a throwback that he's done before, as OKK gets us underway then for qualifying. That's the ever so dodgy turn 1, and believe it or not, we're looking at turn 2. Comment please if you think this is a corner, because I certainly don't. But this, officially, turn 3, and OKK sadly misses the apex, but of course does go purple, so he will be setting it a benchmark as it stands down one of the DRS straights here. And this will drop us into turn 4, one of the opportunities for many overtaking excitement-nesses we're going to see, hopefully. I'm making words up now. This is turn 5, which will end sector 2 in the middle here, between 5 and 6, and begin sector 3. And remember, this is Austria, and as it's a mystery calendar, if you're going to pit, you've got to keep to the right. I wonder how many people will remember that rule, as OKK throws it into 9 and invalidates. We'll stay with him to complete the lap. This is turn 10 on the power, another DRS zone, and unfortunately it's going to be a 105.5 that doesn't mean anything. So let's move on to the next man, who is Jordan Lane, back in his second start since his retirement and since coming back.
That's a good point. I forgot he retired, didn't he? Because he lost his opportunity to fight for the title, and he didn't take it particularly well. It was a retirement on the night he couldn't win it, and yeah, luckily he came back. And here in Austria, we're looking for the benchmark, and that is a 1 minute 4.9. Naturally, you would expect this time to get beaten throughout the session, but you just never know. Maybe Jordan will get his moment in the sun. He's still yet to win, isn't he? We've been waiting for him since season 1. Maybe it will finally happen before we close down at the end of the year. He's running out of time.
Yeah, well, this is race 101 for him and 140 for the Cup Series. And you'll hear Owen Wyatt in the background commentating.
I've been looking forward to seeing this in the flesh, and it just looks brilliant.
Here it is. For those of you who follow F1 Baza on Twitter, this is the hybrid livery he's made of the Mercedes W01 and the Brawn BGP 001, I believe. Basically, Button, Barrichello, Schumacher and Rosberg all thrown into one for the young Welshman, one of our reserves tonight. And it does look good, doesn't it? Let's go on board with him for the final couple of corners. Baza back in the Cup Series, filling in once again, ever reliable, has been ever since season 1. Where can he put himself tonight? It's P2 for the moment, and we'll move on to Sullivan Lewis, who has recently been appointed to the Kia Series earlier this week as a full-timer.
Well, full-timer in the Kia Series, of course. This is the only win he ever had, wasn't it, here in Austria back in, I want to say, season 2, when it all went up in the air. It was the latest safety car and he came through to win the race, and so every time he comes to Austria I'm sure he has some good memories. That day it got him straight through as the last driver into the playoffs. Today he's back up at P1 with a 1 minute 4.8. Let's see how long he'll stay up there. I doubt he'll be up there for long, but you never know tonight.
Yeah, I will tell you now, there'll be some very unpopular people, very unhappy people in the Kia Series if Mr. Lewis comes in tonight and wins in the Cup Series and then turns up on Tuesday scoring regular points. They will not be happy. Here is Mike Kaltenborn, though, the German, also a winner in the Cup Series. He goes P3 for the moment. And next up is Jamie Griffiths. But, and let me very quickly tell you, a new playoff point, you may or may not have seen it. If you lead a single lap, just a lap, doesn't matter how many laps, just one lap or more, you now get a playoff point.
It's weird that wasn't a rule from the start, really, now that we think about it, because, I mean, that's an American staple, isn't it?
It's an IndyCar thing, which obviously I don't like IndyCar, but...
Something's wrong with you.
I know. Many things are. At the moment, it's lack of sleep. Anyway, this is Jamie Griffiths.
Different colours to what I'm used to seeing on him. He normally never goes this sort of bright and greeny, but cool. I do like it, and he's very much all over the curbs. And do you know what? I'm surprised actually OKK didn't end up just flat out crashing. I've never seen anyone cut turn 9 and come out of it alive. I don't know how you even managed to do that, as Jamie Griffiths goes fastest once again. 1 minute 4.6. I imagine it'll be well into the 1 minute 3s. I'm imagining. I haven't properly done qualifying around here for a while, but I imagine that there's still a good half a second to a second to find, so we'll expect that time to keep going down. Pete Knighton, well, last time I was here it all went wrong and we very much jinxed it, so I'm half tempted to just not say anything anymore.
Okay, this is Pete Knighton. I'll say it instead. It's been 130 races since he last won in JACKOCAR, and here he is in turn 9 in Austria. We're going to let this play out. He has kept it valid. And he goes P3. Not what he would be expecting. You'd expect he is the fastest of the drivers that we have had so far. You'd expect a little bit more from him, but that's not the case so far this evening. We'll move on to his good mate Waze. And I say good mate because they go head-to-head tonight in the club card shootout, one of the dogfights that we have. Here he is then, who got himself removed from the Cup Series chat by Pete Knighton, who actually blocked him earlier in the week, and he hasn't yet to return. I will leave that as an open door and let you all make up your own assumptions as to why.
Nice livery though on the car. As you know, I like my liveries. Did you notice that Pete has chosen the one livery on this whole game that doesn't display his unique driving number, which is a bit of an odd one?
I did not. That's something you would notice.
I'm surprised there's no penalties on for that. Not that I'd be asking you to penalise him for anything like that, but, you know, we ain't got a number on that car, as Wace puts his car up to P1. He's got Mercedes colours on that one. Maybe that's an omen for the weekend.
Yeah. Believe it or not, the not showing your number is no longer a penalty. It got too hard to police. Now it's just unique to each driver. Like this one, on out. He is the number 90 something?
13, isn't it?
13. I would never
Why
have got that with my eyes.
Early?
Because he won one race and gave up. Because he does go fastest for now. It's a 104.3, so we're knocking on the door of the 103s.
You see what happens when I stop racing in this league. I mean, we were his emotional supporter for most of last season when it was all going wrong. I saw a clip again of his accident in Belgium qualifying last season where he bent out of the last corner. But he's got it across the line today. I must say, that is another stunning livery. These lot are doing very well on the liveries front.
That's Arnoud and Ben Harrett you're talking about. That's another dogfight that we have in the club card shootout. In fact, it's probably the one to keep your eye on. Two of the very best drivers, and neither of them having any luck at all in the league at the moment. But where can Ben Harrett go? Does he get ahead of his rival tonight? No, he doesn't. He stays, or goes P4, and Arnoud stays P1. So next is Matt Lester, who is yet to join us, which means, Owen White, we're going to get the whole lap with Yuri Hazalaga, who has won round here before in these colours.
Well, that's a good omen. He didn't have any insider knowledge going into this, did he? He's going to be playing to the Orange Army. Not that this game really depicts it very well, which surprises me. But he is in the Dutch colours as the Dutchman. He's got his Max Verstappen World Champion helmet on as well, which doesn't really fit anymore. It's a bit out of date, I think, but oh well. I think Ben still uses it as well, doesn't he? I don't think he used to be allowed to use the real driver's helmets. It's like if someone showed up here in a McLaren, Triple Crown or something. It doesn't really make any sense. But anyway, that's what you get. That's what you get.
Yep. And you're a Verstappen fan as well.
I am a massive Verstappen fan, but, he wouldn't do that.
No. He would have already won the race by now.
Yeah.
That's Yuri Hazalaga, everybody. I don't know if we should just move on because that lap is ruined and talk about Nick Egan, who is already on his lap. He's coming up the hill. He got away without spinning out of turn one. So, yeah, we'll focus on Nick as his lap is not going to be as crap as Yuri's, at least for the first sector, which he has now completed. And on the power, out of turn 3, under the Pirelli boarding and down the... Would you call this the back straight? It's quite high up, isn't it?
Don't really know if you can call anything. I suppose it's parallel to the start finish line. We'll call that as close to a back straight as you can get.
I've never ever referred to that as a back straight, but I guess technically it is. So
yeah,
there you go.
Nice. He's going to be on the pace tonight. He's been pretty quick this season, hasn't he?
So quick in his 3 or 4 appearances that he's had, but he is still elusive of that first JACKOCAR win. Something he has come very close to. But is yet to achieve. And he's going to make life very difficult tonight with that. That's an invalidation. So just as bad as Yuri, who... why has Yuri done a lap?
I was going to say, I don't know really what he's up to, but he did, I think, was just doing another first sector just to see what time he'd do. But now he's slowed it right down.
Okay.
Just Jake O'Sullivan comes through. I don't think he got any toe off him. And I've got to find this livery template, by the way, that he's using, because it's him and Arnold using it. This is one of the actual only good templates I've seen on this game.
It's okay, actually. And it looked really good in the Belgian colours, didn't it?
Yeah.
Big fan of that. Here's Jake O'Sullivan. He's another one you could argue. Why is he so far down? He's just continuing his bad form from the back end of last season. Just the one win this season. And he goes P2. Wow. They're not performing.
Well, I mean, Arnold is quick, you know what I mean? So it being second only by a attempt to Arnold's not actually the end of the world. But I suppose, only being on 1 win. Well, everyone who's won a race this season is only on 1 win, so it's not fully the end of the world yet, is it? Or is it, I should say, but let's see.
To be fair, we're on a streak of 9 different race winners in a row in the Cup Series alone, so that's from the back end of last season to now. By the way, here's the yellow machine of Gareth Hall. I quite like this, do you?
It definitely stands out, but you know the way on this game the default car has a little bit of yellow on it as well. I always see the yellow playing card and just think that's a bit default, but in fairness, he has done quite a good job of it. And he's got the Carlos Sainz helmet, which it does annoy me, but it does suit the livery very well.
Yep, there you go. That's Owen's opinion. And this is now time for the Fast Five, which will be kicked off by Kieran Spears. He's warned us that we may have to leave mid-race just in case he gets a call from the hospital to go and see his mother. So we send her our well wishes. But where can Kieran go whilst all of his focus is on JACKOCAR? Through the final corner and over the line, it's P1. Welcome to the show. A 104.3. Up next is Ben Shaw, the reigning champion.
And another very nice livery with that template. I said back in Silverstone that I wasn't the biggest fan of having the gold on it because I preferred, with his blue variant, but he is the champion. He does deserve to run the gold, and yeah, it looks a hell of a lot better than this. And that car looks mean, He can do some serious damage with this. Let's see how he gets on as he comes through the final 2 corners. No issues so far, keeps it well within the track limits. The line's up there, it's going to be near the top, but it's only P3. Kieran keeps hold of his advantage. Casper has already invalidated as he came through turn 1. So that is a massive shame for him. He will be starting dead last.
Yeah, well, unless Matt Lester can join very late on. Whilst we've got a second here, Ways' livery says it's a tribute to his friend that died in the crash. I don't know which crash, but a crash. So very sad for young Ways, but honouring his good mate. Up in P5 as well. It was a good lap from Ways, we must say. But Corey has now started his, the penultimate driver, running the Ben Shaw colours. I don't know if he'll like that.
I don't think he will.
Certainly not a fan of Austria. He made that clear. And it was at this corner that we're on the run-up to, where he made the infamous Corey Kazi move and took out 4 of his opponents, which allowed Yuri to go on and win that day, his only win in the Cup Series. Corey, meanwhile, has 7, I believe. I can fact-check that for you if you so wish. Corey Dalton, 7 Cup Series wins. There it is. But yeah, having a very good season. His best season to date as well.
It's weird to think about that, actually, isn't it? Because you would have thought he'd have already had a season like this. Because we always said all the way through his time here that he has the potential to do it. And it just surprises me it's taken till season 9 for him to actually start achieving it. He hasn't got the most points, it has to be said. But he is top of the championship. So that's just how JACKOCAR works for you, I suppose.
P1.
And he has gone to P1. Khalifa, the man who does have the most points, is second in the championship. But we know what his pace is right here. He won, of course, the championship here in Season 3. And that was in, must be one of the only... Did we only ever do one 100% race? It was him against Arnold, wasn't it, for that title?
Well, there were 3 others, but they weren't as good that day. Corey was one of them, actually, then Kyle Smith and Janel. It was the ERT C5, you may recall. There's only one man who can beat the rest of the field. It may sound obvious, but if you're going to put your money on anyone, it is the record pole sitter in the Cup Series. It's Khalifa Al Khalifa. Penultimate corner into the final corner. Can the Bahraini get anywhere near Corey's time? Opens the DRS and over the line he goes. It's P1, a 103.9. You said it, Owen, and we all saw it coming. The pole position goes to Khalifa. What a fantastic lap that was. And he will begin the race on a track where he won a championship all those years ago.
I tell you what, it was a bit sweaty palms there waiting for someone to actually put it in the 103s. But finally, at the end, who else but Khalifa to make it happen? I actually do have to ask, why is he not top of the championship? Because he's got the same amount of wins, he's got more points, and he's got more playoff points than Corey.
He is top of the championship.
Why does my graphic say that Corey's top?
I will get back to you on that. But on the...
Sorry for the carnage, Khalifa. You are top of the championship. I was very confused.
Khalifa is 8 points clear of Corey. He's definitely the championship leader in points.
Might want to fix your graphics then.
Okay, very well. Ignore me. Anyway, a quick rundown. Khalifa, Corey, Kieran, Arnold, Ben, Jake Ways, Jamie Griffiths, the other Ben, and Sullivan Lewis. The rest, Owen.
Hold on.
Rubbish.
Yeah, we're not even going to name them. We haven't got time. We'll name them on the formation lap. Do we have formation laps? Because I know one hub doesn't because they don't work.
It is back, actually.
Ah, good.
Yeah. I tell you what, whilst you said something about my bloody stand-ins are wrong, I don't believe a word of it.
Well, it's the graphic you put up last week, which I used as my reference for tonight, and
Oh. Yeah, that's wrong.
Well,
Khalifa, yeah. It doesn't matter because
I hope Corey
they're
was
both
listening.
advanced.
Yeah, I hope Corey was listening for the bits where I was saying he was top, and he's just turned off now, so we can celebrate or whatever. But yeah, it is Khalifa on top, and we are here in this is sunset, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
that'll make the braking zones a little bit easier for them, actually, I think, because it means the sun's not going to be high enough to get in their way, which should mean that this will be a bit more of a consistent sort of run for them, and it'll also be picturesque.
Yeah. As well as the tracks being a mystery, the time of day is also random, so you could get anything. At least it's not morning or afternoon here, because that is awful. But speaking of the regular season, obviously the Club Card Shootout is alive and well as of this race. The 4 drivers that are fighting for the guaranteed playoff points, they are Ben Shaw, Khalifa El Khalifa, Corey Dalton and Casper Klein. They are the 4 with the most points, so they will battle it out for the regular season crown. And then the rest of them will have to scrap their way through the knockout format, of which I may as well give a rundown, haven't I? Let's do that.
We've got time.
Okay, so it's Kieran versus OKK. If I name them, you tell me who you think's going to advance.
Oh, that's a bit good. Right, so Kieran versus OKK. Kieran. Oh, no, if he has to leave, though, and OKK's on a Joker.
Yes.
OKK. Nah, OKK. Do you know what? I fancy OKK.
Okay. OKK, I should say. Yuri and Mike. That's MK Born to you guys.
Yuri, isn't it? It's going to be Yuri.
Yeah. Gareth and Jordan.
Gareth. You know what he's like.
Yeah. Here's an easy one for you. Leroy, who's not here, versus Jamie Griffiths. I think that
possibly Jamie Griffiths on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Jamie Griffiths has a bye in round 1, and then you've got Jake O'Sullivan versus Michelle Goris, who is not here. That's an easy one.
Yeah. Probably be the one who's here. Yeah.
For me, the big one: Ben Harrett, Arnaud de Grief, both on Jokers.
Yeah. On those two. We should probably mention all the Jokers quickly while we're here. Arnaud's on hards for the start of this. Ben Harrett's on mediums. That's already quite surprising. OKK and Waste, they're being sensible, I think. Well, Waste is on sauce, actually, but where's the other one? Baz is on...
Baz is not Joker.
OKK's on... mediums. There he is. Right. Anyway, so I reckon possibly Ben Harrett, because I don't think these hards is a very good starting tyre.
Okay. We've got 2 more matchups to go through. Danny Quinn, who's serving a ban against Risky.
Easy one, that.
That's an easy one. And then the man who blocks the other man, it's Pete versus Waze.
Waze. I fancy Waze.
Really? His good qualifying.
Yeah, and Pete's about as reliable as, I don't know, chocolate fire shield.
Yeah. 130 wins. Oh, sorry, no. 130 races without a win. It is heartbreaking and funny at the same time. As Ben Short gets disqualified from the session.
Martin Brundle, by the way, for the chocolate fire shield. I didn't think of that on the spot.
The stage points tonight come at the end of lap 10 and lap 20. 16 drivers have to make... By the way, Leslie did turn up. 16 drivers have to make
grid, by the way.
2 stops. I'm trying to talk, Owen. And 4 drivers are on Jokers. But I'm going to leave it to Owen Wyatt to call those famous little words.
Well, we've got 5 lights here in Austria. They go out, but they never actually go out until the drivers move. So boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. It's a decent start from Corey. Will he be brave enough to stick one up the inside of Cleveland to turn 1, who leaves him miles of space? Fair play for the 2 of them. They keep it all on the track. Kieran was briefly behind Arnaud there, but with those softer tyres, Kieran got back ahead, as does Ben Shaw. I would imagine that as we head up towards turn 3, everyone's just going to be hopefully keeping the noses relatively clean, especially the likes of Arnaud and your ones on Jokers. But they're still side by side, all the way down the back straight, as we're not calling it, towards turn 4. And yes, Arnaud is being sensible. He's just letting Ben Shaw go through. He's very much playing the long game today. Khalifa already halfway round to his first playoff point of the evening.
Yep, and I was watching Waze and Ben Harrett battle there, and Waze has been on the inside of Ben Harrett for almost half a lap, and they're still going at it. This is the action at the moment as Ben Harrett finally gets the better of the young Welshman, who's going to try and come back of him around the outside. No, he's going to have to sit there and wait this time around. Is there wing damage on that car? No, there's not. It's just my eyesight, kids. Khalifa takes a playoff point for leading a lap.
This will be where the sunset bit starts to become difficult for people who've got old, wary eyes like you do, because this will be a bit tricky to see. And might create issues for the drivers as well. I don't really know. I suppose no one will have ever prepared for sunset on this track, especially, you know, knowing that they didn't know that it was coming. So it will be possibly taking a little while just to adapt, as we see a lot more fighting on the second lap for turn 3 than we did on lap 1. I think people are getting a little bit more excited this time around, more confident. And do you know what? Corey is sticking very well to the back of Khalifa. When DRS gets enabled here, he's kept his ERS pretty much as high as you really need to. It's 85%. That would be more than enough.
Mr. Sullivan Lewis is going around the outside of Waze at turn 5. What a move this would be if he can pull it off. Still side by side through 6 and 7. Sullivan on the button, gets the job done. Up into P8 he goes. What a fantastic move. And Pete Nyan is going to try and follow him through. Waze starting to fall down the order. Yellow flags are out.
Jack.
Waze gives him no room. And there you go, he keeps P9. What's happened? Jake O'Sullivan in the pit lane.
Spun into the pit lane entry. That was not intentional. And, well, it'll be his first stop, but he's 1 lap too early. So this is not going to be a one that counts, is it?
It's not. Maybe wing damage. I'm now looking at Gareth, by the way. Waze really is dropping like a stone down this order, and he's 2 of the people who dislike him the most have pulled off fantastic moves on him. Gareth, the most recent of the 2, and now seeks to get through on the back of Pete. Very sorry to interrupt you. We'll go to Jake at some point in this race, I'm sure, as he exits the pit lane at turn 1. But here is Gareth now into, well, the top 9. I was going to say top 10. He's having a good race, as he usually does.
Yes, but like I said, I'm pretty sure we'll find that Jake spun into the pit lane, because the yellow flag came out. He was facing the barrier when we came to him, so if he's had contact or if he's just lost the rear end, you find very quickly on this track that the traction through 9 and 10 becomes little to nothing when you're on the soft compound tyres. So it might happen more often throughout this race, so look out for it, as the pit lane is now open and Yuri is taking that opportunity to pit. Don't think he's got any damage, but we'll see if there's a new front wing out there for him. I don't see one, so this is purely strategical.
And we've missed an overtake for the lead as well, as Corey is ahead of Khalifa on what is now the back straight.
That'll be some teamwork, I reckon, because they'll be pretty much DRSing each other each and every lap here. This is the point I was going to make earlier on in the race about the ERS levels, because both of these 2 have kept it nice and high. Kieran's not so much, and what I expect to happen is that Khalifa and Corey will quite simply just swap places every lap, and it protects them from Kieran in 3rd.
Oh, Sullivan Lewis! He's off the track in 5 and 6. Contact with Jamie Griffiths, but has recovered right on the racing line. He's going to fall down here. Here goes Jordan, and MK Bourne already got past him. Contact with Jamie Griffiths on the exit of turn 5. It's thrown his race way off, and he's still having struggles into the pit lane. I think he's going to look for a yellow compound medium tyre, which he can now legally put on.
So Kieran has perhaps seen what was going to happen between the ERT drivers, and he has pitted to get pretty much out of that fight. But will we see Khalifa make an overtake? He's not using any ERS on this lap. He's also very low on his fuel. He has fueled that car to about as low as you can possibly go. So he is playing every strategical sort of trick in the book, as we see Gareth possibly getting 2 cars in one go up into P5. That is, well, the yellow machine clearly has some special abilities, because he is absolutely on a tear right now. And you wouldn't really think Arnold would be that much of a trouble to pass because of the tyre difference alone.
No, I'm going to say it early doors. Maybe it's Gareth's night. He took a shock win in Portugal last season. He had one before in Monza. Not so much of a shock, more fraudulent. But he's looking very good, very racy, despite the classic poor qualifying. Pete spun into the pit lane.
So that's the second driver to have done that tonight, and you've got to, I suppose, say it's going to happen again. It's so difficult through turn 9 when you're having to you don't even have to be sending it. Your car just goes light when you turn in, and there's nothing you can do about it if you're on the wrong line. Luckily, Pete hasn't hit anything, so he doesn't have his race completely ruined.
No.
But we'll see what happens later on. Khalifa's now got a full tank of ERS, and Corey has been using. So maybe Khalifa's playing his own game, or maybe Corey actually did just pass him genuinely, but I can't help but think that this is working out better for Khalifa still, because he's just got everything he could possibly want here.
Yep. Both of them have won a JACKOCAR race around here. Corey's was to get him into the Season 2 or Season 3? It would have been Season 3 Championship 5. Sorry, playoffs. Wouldn't there have been?
Well, he won the race to win the championship, didn't he, as well?
No, he won the race to advance to the playoffs. At the one where Jamie Wright let him through, and then Riley gave him a hard time when he was lapping him. Season 3. You're on about Khalifa, who eventually won the second Austria race that season for the title.
I'm hearing Season 3 and I'm thinking, we raced there twice, didn't we?
We did,
yeah. Got you.
Oh, Khalifa's gone! Into the wall he goes! And out of this race! That's going to be a safety car, Owen Wyatt.
That's one of his worst commentator curses, isn't it? Because how has he done that? I know it's difficult to get the throttle down out of the corner, but he
lost it on traction out of turn 3.
Did he try and use any ERS or anything? Because I mean, he was saving. I thought he was cruising.
I didn't see, I must admit. But what's shocking?
That's bizarre.
This is how rare this is. This is Khalifa's 59th start in the Cup Series, and only his 4th retirement. That's a record that nobody else has with multiple race starts.
Corey's pitting, by the way. This is where Arnaud's strategy worries me, because he is going to start. I would have still pitted. I don't know. I just don't think this is going to be a very quick tyre, because surely you're just going to get done. But hey, listen, we'll see what happens. Khalifa has said that it was a mistake, under no pressure, which he certainly was under no pressure, because I think he'll agree he had that race completely under control.
I just find it hard to believe. Khalifa doesn't make mistakes. What will be interesting here, just very quickly, is to see if Mr. O'Sullivan pits, and he does. Oh, no. So, of course, he spun into the pit lane on lap 2, which was non-mandatory, and now he's making his first mandatory stop, also a safety car stop, no less. So that's that gone, and gets a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits.
I feel like you should get like 10 seconds for doing that, because what the hell are you doing speeding onto the safety car?
Yeah.
What are you trying to get?
No pressure.
There's absolutely no reason to be doing that.
All you're doing is bringing yourself back into strategy. You've had your bad luck at the start. You should be focusing on just getting back to this point, 19th, and starting again with 28 to go. But Jake O'Sullivan making life difficult for himself. He can make his second mandatory stop from lap 21 or thereafter.
Right, so we'll do a bit of housekeeping then. Let's see where we're at in this race, because Arnaud is leading. He's on a Joker, he's on the hard compound of tyre. Ben Harrett, he's on the Joker. I think he's on a better looking Joker. He's on the medium compound of tyre. He's not pitted. Casper hasn't pitted, not on a Joker, still on the sauce. He started on Wace, is on a Joker, he's 4th, and he's still on the sauce. He started on OKK Same, he's on mediums. Corey, the highest of the drivers we have pit. Leslie, welcome to the race. 8 laps in on these tyres. 7th place, we'll see a bit more of him on the restart then. And Baza, the last car not to have pitted, he's in 8th. So Corey, I think, can be relatively happy with where he is. I keep saying it, I just don't think that Arnaud is going to win from here. But I just think the tyres are too slow.
Okay.
I don't think you have to run these for a one-stop. I just don't think you do.
I think you are correct, because I'll take you back 2 games ago. I did, in a 25% race, it must be said, 2 laps on mediums, and then the remainder of those laps, so it would have been 16 laps on softs. So they definitely last around here. Although that was 2 games ago, back in my prime.
The safety car has been out, and that is going to bring, Ben Harrett will be looking at this and he'll be thinking that he's in the box seat for this. Corey will be looking at this and thinking, well, I've only got 5 cars ahead of me. I reckon I'm in the box seat because I'm on some fresh mediums. So I suppose your 3 favourites for this are Arnaud, just because he's at the front, Ben Harrett and Corey, but we are only just about to hit the 1/4 stage, and then the actual stage point will be at the end of the next lap.
Yeah, Arnaud has joined Khalifa and Corey with getting a playoff point for leading a race. But as for the next playoff point, it is 1 lap away, and of course it is Arnaud and Ben Harrett who are fighting in the Club Cars shootout. And how nice is this? All 4 jokers in a top 5. A rarity.
Yeah, Casper having to ruin it.
Yeah, it's always Casper. He never pits under safety car. Green flag. We're back racing again here in Austria. Arnaud on his way. And OKK immediately done by Corey before turn 1. But slots in behind.
Well, he's round anyway. He's round anyway. Well, there goes my bet for him. As he does hit the pit wall with his side pod. If that hasn't done damage, I'd be amazed. He sideswiped that thing so hard.
There we are. Here is OKK. No damage to the front of that machine. Oh, what a shame. I think we've both done a commentator's cursor tonight, haven't we?
Yes, we have a little bit. As Corey gets past Waste now, I was wondering if his move on the main straight was illegal, but EA did, or Codemasters did fix that issue, didn't he? Where yellow flags would stick around on a restart. It's the reason I had to let him through in Japan last season, if you remember, when I let him through to get his first win that season, and then the game told him he had to let me back through, and we ended up practically playing chicken, and it was Jake thinking that we were trying to cheat or something, but it was a bit of a mess on the game. But they fixed that now, as Casper very oddly pits at the end of the first lap of the restart.
Yeah.
Whatever sense that makes to him, it doesn't make to me.
Thing is, he did that a few races ago and it worked. But I don't back it. I really don't back it. Surely you pit with everyone. Here goes Ben Harrett for the lead then. On the outside of turn 3. Arnaud de Grief still on the inside. Who is going to come... Yep, Corey is there as well. But Arnaud retains the lead because Ben Harrett has to focus on defending. But he's not giving up on attacking. To the outside again of Arnaud de Grief. As we go to a different onboard shot. Pete Knight is out of this race. That may be another safety car. Yes, it is.
2 cars involved in this one. It is Baza, I believe. At least maybe had to stop for him. He's not got any damage on the car. And already the car's disappeared, but it was on the inside of the X rather than the outside where Khalifa was Pete's car. So, oh dear, another safety car, and that's gonna annoy Casper possibly even more because he could have just waited one more lap and pitted under that safety car. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because he gets back onto the back of the pack now.
I was about to say the opposite. He obviously regains everything that he lost in terms of like geographically on the track. So he's still in this race, and he still has a safety car stop in hand.
Because what Ben Harrett is about to do, is surely he's about to pit and come out miles ahead of him. Where, you know what I mean, he could have just been right on him. But we'll see. Perhaps it does work out. Is he still under Delta? He's under Delta, Casper, until he gets to the start-finish line. So let's see. He should be able to floor it now. Okay. Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what?
It's going to be close.
It's going to beat him out, actually.
Just.
Oddly enough.
Just.
That really surprises me, but it also surprised me that they're both onto the hards. Both him and Wace. So that's Ben Harrett and Wace. They are on hards. And that suddenly makes Arnaud turn round to me, and he'll probably be doing a whole smug face or whatever.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
That's 3 of the Jokers now sat on the hards. But again, taking those hards to the end of the Grand Prix, that's not going to work. I'm sorry, that's not going to work. You're not going to win on a Joker anyway. You might be able to pit onto some softs at the end and win, but I just do not buy these tyres winning the Grand Prix from here. I do not buy it. There's no way.
Let me just go back in time. We have never, ever, in Cup or Kia, had a Joker winner in Austria.
Of course, the problem with these guys, of course, is that they haven't had a chance to. They haven't had a chance, of course, to prepare their strategy. They are doing this on the fly. They didn't know they'd be racing here. I'm sure they were all sitting there thinking, perhaps this Joker is something they just have to deal with rather than take advantage of, perhaps. But they're giving it a good go. I suppose you don't often see the Hards getting this involved in a Joker race. That's maybe one of the advantages of people having to come out of it on the fly. They really are making unique strategies come out.
I was going to suggest this to you. Perhaps the other three Jokers, Ben, Waze and Michael O'Kk, do you think they've seen Arnaud on the Hards and they've just thought, oh, Arnaud is Arnaud, so that must be right. And they've just copied him rather than trusting themselves? Because I'm much of the opinion of you, a medium and a soft would get you to the end here.
You see, the thing is, I would have thought Ben Harrett by this point would have been able to trust his own judgment, so maybe this is also his plan. Because Ben Harrett is a very accomplished driver now. He's won races. He knows what he's doing.
81 race starts and 3 wins for Ben Harrett. It's a very good record.
And those wins have come more recently than you would have saved for others. It's not like they came in the first half. They've certainly come in the second half of his time here. So,
yep.
I suppose if there's 2 drivers doing it, I'd be maybe he's taking inspiration from Arnaud, but I don't know. I just don't know. We'll see what works. He's 14th on Hards. What progress are you going to make from there? I don't think it's going to be anything as meaningful as if you were on pretty much anything else. I will keep questioning it until I see him win the race. Same with Arnaud, same with West, same with OKK, and I'd love to know what damage he's done to his side pod. If he has done any, I'd be very surprised. But he's at the back with his restart. Arnaud is at the front.
Do expect Corey to be very lively.
Didn't he? Did we mention that he got a stage point?
I was going to come on to it. Arnaud's stage 1 win at lap 10, and obviously leading a lap, so that's 2 playoff points for him, 2 for Khalifa. The rest 2 up for grabs, including those 5 points for winning on a Joker if you do a pure Joker strategy. 4 of them, all 4 of them, are still in it. But yeah, expect Corey, Ben, Kieran and Gareth to all be lively on this restart as the green flag's back in the air. Arnaud on his way down to turn 1 here in Austria, but look at Corey. He wants to lead, but he's not going to. He thought better of it. Let's go on board with Ben Shaw, who picks up a penalty. What a shame for him. Kieran's going to be all over Ben Shaw on the run up to turn 3 as Corey takes the lead off of Arnaud.
Will Arnaud even think about coming back as he's still in sort of tyre preservation mode? That's a legit pass for the lead as well. They both have one more stop to make, so is that almost Arnaud sort of giving up on that, or what? Will he be waiting for another safety car to make his next stop? Of course he can do that, whereas Corey can't, can he? But Ben Shaw now on the back of him. Will Arnaud possibly defend a bit more, harshly? Did let Corey get away, help his ERT teammate out? He's got 3 speed drivers behind him, and you can see the sign that Ben's losing. He's quicker in every corner. Ben Harrett still 14th, as there's a yellow flag right in front of him. It's Yori again off. He was off in qualifying. He pitted right at the start of this race, remember. He hasn't actually taken the safety car stop yet. And there's another pass happening in front as Lesty pits, and Ben does get Arnaud. So, will Arnaud possibly slipstream him back? I'd be surprised if he just lets him drive away. He's onto the ERS. Ben Shaw isn't, and we can see the slipstream now. Go on, Arnaud, let's go for a move. Not on the outside, that makes no sense unless you're going to go for a cutback. DRS would be where you'd be doing that, really, and we're not into that yet. And you can see the traction on those mediums. I think you would have been better, Arnaud, just whacking one down the inside and just helping Corey out a little bit more. He has kept Kieran behind. I don't think, though, he's going to stay behind for very long. That was very opportunistic running outside. And Gareth, well, we know what he's like. He'll just send it, won't he? So he'll be the next car.
Well, and there's a door. The door to the left of Arnaud was very much open, and Gareth eyed it up. Yellow flags again, by the way.
Gone.
Oh, no, Nick, come on, man. But here goes Gareth on the run down to turn 9. And Gareth's going to send it for P4 on track on Arnaud. I think he's going to make it stick as well. Job done. Great move from Gareth as Arnaud falls down the order once again. The DRS is enabled.
Yeah, let's say, if the mediums were, or the hards were slow at the start. Imagine how slow they are now. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I just don't see the logic with this. Yuri has spun out of turn 9, the third car to do that today. He's really falling down now. Lesty has made a second stop, I think, but it's way too early for it to count, which is a bit of an annoyance. I don't know if he had damage or something, but Jamie Griffiths has just lost 2 places, 1 corner, by the way. It was to West and to Ben Harris, who are fighting very hard indeed. Down the inside goes West, and he's going to push Ben Harris wide and make the place. That's. Are we surprised by that? I'm surprised that they're both still outside the top 10. I know I said they wouldn't get up very far, but I mean, they're just in no man's land. They're fighting each other. Risky, I think, has had an issue. He's falling down. He's got Jordan catching him now.
I am back, by the way. My lamp started flickering, so I had to vacate. Thankfully, Owen Wyatt was here, and I left the battle, or the camera, on the correct battle. It's Jamie Griffiths and Ben Harris. I think the action is Casper and Arnaud at the moment.
Yes. I saw a car somewhere. It must have been Casper, but they're teammates, so they're not going to fight too hard. And Arnaud must be hitting every second of this.
By the way, Jake O'Sullivan, I know he still carries that penalty, but he is into the top 5. And is he now looking mildly racy? I would say yes.
I would say yes as well, actually. But
that penalty's going to hurt him.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's move on to Kieran, who is closing on Ben Shaw. Both of these two yet to win this season. Of course, previous race winners. Yet to find winning ways.
I do apologise if I sound confused, by the way, but the amount of strategies I'm trying to figure out in my head, I really can't figure out what these jokers are doing. It's been confusing me this whole race, and it's just, they're now 8th, 11th, 12th, and 15th, and they're on the worst tyres. I just don't know what they think is going to happen.
No. Of course, it should be reminded to the folks that Gareth's about to get overtaken, by the way, by Jake.
He might send it back on the inside.
Nah. Of course, these drivers, they had no idea. He will, actually. Come on, Gareth. These drivers had no idea what track they were picking. They just had to pick a number between 1 and 16 and then hope it was a good track to do a joker. And that's why there's just happens to be 4 of them here in Austria.
The thing is, as well, like, the more I'm thinking about it, even if you pick like the perfect, as OKK's got off again, by the way, I think he must have some side pod damage. I refuse to believe he doesn't. But no matter what you do on this track, I simply just don't think you can make a one-stop work, or like, I just don't think it happens because the tires just die too quickly. In one hub, I extended my stints on mediums by about 5 laps, and I was being caught 2 seconds a lap by people on fresh tires. So Arnaud's going to abandon these hards now and put some mediums on, I would have thought.
But it's so early.
Yeah, this is the problem. That's what I'm saying. The one stop, I just don't think it works regardless of what you do, really. As Ben, or as Jake, gets himself past Gareth again before turn 3, which will surely mean that Gareth can just go straight back past him on the DRS. He's using what ERS he's got left. Let's see.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth there. He does have the DRS, does a little weave behind Jake to know he's not going anywhere.
Decently trained for him here because of Gareth. He has Casper and now MK Bourne, who's got some serious pace at the minute, actually.
He does like it here. He normally picks Austria as Joker, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's certainly competitive in this race at the moment. A top 5 very much could be on the cards if he can just keep everything nice and composed. He's got a decent amount of ERS on there. I'm sure once Gareth comes to him, he'll be able to pass him because it seems like Gareth is struggling, isn't he? He's defending hard against Casper, but nothing really seems to be working for him. He's down to 6th place.
Yep, there you go. Another easy move for Casper as he promotes himself into the top 5. In that whole time we were focusing on that battle, Mr. Shaw has lost another second to Corey out front, and Kieran is still half a second behind, so that very much is your top 3. Jake is 2 seconds behind these, and you'd like to think Casper is going to be on his way to try and get up into the 4th place position as they go into turn 4. He's certainly a lot closer to Jake than what Gareth was when he was directly behind him. Jordan gets past Jamie Griffiths further down the field. We'll stay with Casper though. I sense a move coming very soon as Kieran has also got a little bit closer to Ben Shaw and Wyatt.
Yes, I imagine that these two, again, if they've got any sense, let's do some DRSing, you know, swapping every lap. Just catch that 4/10 a lap. It can't hurt when you've got Jake catching you and you've got the train that he brings with him. I wondered if that was what Wes and Ben Harrett were doing, because you'll notice that they've been swapping positions. But we'll see, because Wes got back in front of Ben Harrett after he got back past him. And they're sort of on their own. Again, they can work together here with this for now, because they do have Risky coming at them.
Yeah.
And they
Risky's going to send it down the inside. Look, there he is.
To the inside. Well, that sort of cancels that plan, doesn't it? Because those two are now fighting with each other, and Wes can get himself down the road. As we see MK Bourne having a look, but not able to find his way past Gareth as of yet. But certainly he looks fast enough to do so soon.
Another good move from Sullivan there. He gets it complete, but Ben Harrett comes back at him. And around the outside, yeah.
Contact with Risky. That'll send him about a second off down the road. And that's just a racing incident. They won't have any good to complain about there, but that will help Ben Harrod just to have a little bit of breathing space for a minute as Kieran gets himself past Ben Shaw. He's pitting. Jake as well pitting. The question will be asked, is this too early? I would possibly suggest yes.
Yep. Corey stays out. He's got it all under control, hasn't he? I don't know what he's done with himself. A totally different driver this season. Even when he's had bad moments, he's kept his head on. And it's something we've not seen from him before. As he powers his way down to turn 4, it just looks comfortable for him, especially since Khalifa left the show on the end of, I think it was lap 3 or 4, wasn't it?
It was proper early, wasn't it?
Very early.
What this will mean that when you see your main rival crash out of a race like that, it does make you relax a little bit, because you know that all you have to do is get it to the line. But the issues with Corey, that's sometimes been the bigger issue. But he is driving quite well. He is going to pit this time as well, so he's just reacting to what everyone around him is doing. That is all you have to do now at this point. Yep. When you know you're the quickest guy out there, just copy what everyone else is doing. You can't lose.
Remember, he had a 3.6 second gap last time around. Kieran takes the lead of the race. We'll have to do a VAR check to see if he led lap 22. I'll take you over to Owen Wyatt as I figure that out.
It would have been quite close, but Casper, well, he'll fancy a chance to lead that now, won't he? Because he's in the DRS of the race leader. He didn't get to lead the race at all, did he? Or did he? Did Casper... No, he didn't. He pitted too early, didn't he? He pitted, like... bad.
Corey led lap 22, by the way, just to confirm VAR check.
Did Casper lead any laps?
Not yet.
I know there was a lot of pit stop malarkey at the start. Just if he hasn't, it means he'll have that sort of, encouragement to go for a move here on Kieran. Although Kieran will pit before him anyway, won't we? Because he's on 6-lap older tyres. Yeah,
but Kieran will be thinking, I've got to get a playoff point. And I would absolutely stand by that decision. And that's exactly what he's going to do. Casper, don't forget, started P20. And here they come. There's a playoff point for Kieran. They're about the easiest ones you can earn. Lead a race. Ooh, Casper, sideways.
Very much sideways. I want to check the gap, by the way.
Hang on. Waze and Ben Harrett. They're still committed to the Joker, and they're 4th and 5th.
That's what I was going to say. I want to check the gap between them and Corey. It's only 6 seconds. So this is it. You two, you really, really, really have to start working together. Because you will lead the race. You're not going to keep it if you don't work together. If you can DRS each other, save your ERS each lap, just let each other come through and work together. You can do whatever you want in the last 2 laps. But for now... I'd be focusing on just making sure you make yourself into an unpassable, duo.
I tell you what, Waze would be a very unlikely winner, wouldn't it? Ben Harrett less so. It wouldn't be unwelcome though. But you just think Corey has got all the pace on him. Here he is. What's the difference? If Corey is in turn 9, Ben
He's got
Harrop
second already.
is at the exit of turn 10, yeah. But, of course, JACKOCAR, drama, incidents, crashes. Say no more.
I also just want to put one more variable out there, as Casper does now go for the lead. He's going to hang back, but so is Kieran. Kieran knows exactly what he's doing. He wants that DRS on the exit. But with Casper and possibly Kieran, possibly Gareth, they're staying out long enough here to be able to think about softs for their last stint. And, you know, you get a late safety car at that point, that's where that'll come into play. And Casper certainly can stay out long enough to wait for said safety car. And that's where him not putting under it earlier on might come back to be an advantage rather than a disadvantage. As I said, it might have been earlier on. As Arnoud, remember him? He's got himself back past Ben Shaw. Now, he's only on 4-lap older tyres than Corey, so I mean, if he's got race-winning pace, he's got to start to show it. Because, you know, he can get into this. He can. As Casper ignores exactly what I've just been saying and pits. So somehow Kieran's the one who stayed on the tyres longer. Which I would have thought would have been encouraging for Casper to hang on a little bit. I'm sure it'll be definitely enough for Gareth to carry on a little bit. But it is softs anyway. They'll be lovely and ruined at the end. But he's going for that option possibly a couple of laps early.
I've just done a quick check as well, and Casper did not lead a lap, so he doesn't have a playoff point from this race. Yeah, at least.
Smart.
Yeah, so good work.
I'm going to assume he's gone from I am first. That means I get it. That's obviously not how it works.
That's not
now
how it
look
works.
at this. We've got Ben Harrop overtaking Wace. Didn't look like a massive defence from Wace. He seemed happy enough to just let it happen. On the next lap, Corey will arrive. And it really has to be said here. It's hard to sort of figure out the gap here with Arnold because there's 2 cars in the way, but I don't know. Maybe he does have some pace.
I think this is where it gets exciting. I would strap in at this point.
The fact is as well, Arnoud, Corey, both ERT teammates, but both already have their win this season, so nothing's really stopping them from fighting each other.
Ben Harrop and Waze will want a win, won't they? And I'm sure they will defend hard if they know what's at stake here. So
Corey's burning his ERS. He knows this is essentially the leading move. I would be fascinated to see how this is played. And you know what? That's what you need to keep doing if you are Wes and if you are Ben Harrop. But, well, the traction's sort of ruined it, actually, hasn't it? Is he going to get both cars in one go, Corey? Oh, dear.
Well, that's
a bit of a
far too easy, wasn't it?
Underwhelming expose of the Joker strategy, it has to be said. But, well, Corey's going to disappear now, unfortunately, isn't he? So, I think into turn 3 they were blocking him, but it's just the fact that they just didn't expect him to have the traction he had out of turn 3. It just caught them both out, I think.
I wonder if they even realised what they were defending there. By the way, Gareth's going to try and steal a point here, but I think Kieran might get it. He does. So Gareth has to keep Corey behind if he wants to get a playoff point.
Going to be difficult.
It is, because he's within that second as well.
Oh, he's got no chance.
Let's go on board with Corey.
Unless he does something utterly mental.
Sorry.
Let's see. Corey driving correctly. Nothing really you can complain about there. Gareth also driving correctly. As funny as I'm sure it looked, that was all very much within the rules. Corey will slipstream him. And Gareth, do you know what? I think he has this. Bit of contact, bit of push and shove.
With that. And it brings Ben Harrop back into it as well. Gareth is doing this purely to get a single playoff point.
I think more importantly it brings Arnoud into this because he'll be catching, because this is going to cost Corey seconds upon seconds upon seconds. Helps Ben Shaw as well. That's probably who Gareth is doing this for, apart from himself of course. But it's going to bring this whole group together very nicely indeed. Well, he must realise that Wace, this is helping Wace, Gareth. Do you really want to do this?
Gareth so badly wants that playoff point, but I think Corey gets it.
That's a mare. Wow. And he's got absolutely massive understeer through turn 1, so yellows for something. That's OKK off again. I was wondering what was happening. There was a lot of change of position in the midfield. So things are happening everywhere right now. Gareth, if you have any grip, you need to use it now. You don't. Well, okay, well, Corey's going to disappear then, unfortunately, for the entertainment value. Casper just overtook Arnaud. That was the movement I saw in the midfield. So, he will have gained time on this. He is currently 5.9 seconds off the race leader. On some softs, I mean, do you reckon he can catch it?
Who, sorry, I'm just doing the VAR
Casper.
check. Maybe. I'm going to get back to you on who led lap 28.
I'm pretty sure it was Corey.
Over the line. Oh. I don't know. Gareth will now pit, by the way.
Yep, job well done. Absolute waste of time. The usual Gareth special, really, these days. At least he's not ruined a teammate's race, though, this time.
So.
Nine. The thing with Wace here and with Ben Shaw, they're both going to be, well, it's going to be free wide, basically, for P2. But what these two, again, have to consider is about that Ben has the penalty. Can they save in 3 seconds? If not, you've got to fight this. And they aren't really fighting it at all. They've let Ben Shaw go through. Casper and Arnaud are going to take this podium off these two here. And that's going to be... when do you start really putting your elbows out? Because they're just sitting ducks right now, but they could work together with this. I keep saying it, I'm sure they're trying, but it is so difficult when you're basically on a handicap with these tyres.
Check complete. Lap 28 was led by Corey. So no playoff point for young Gareth Hall as we are now inside 6 to go. Corey comes round the main straight and begins lap 31. Ways still running very well. Ben Harrett very committed to this joker, but coming back to what Owen White asked me when I wasn't listening, yes, I do think Casper will catch him. And Jamie Griffiths picks up a penalty. Arnaud and Kieran fight.
So Arnaud's pace is disappearing because of the fact that the two guys on softs are quite clearly quicker. And Casper, he had some pretty rubbish understeer through the final corner, it has to be said, in the last lap. Is that a sign that his tyres are already starting to become a little bit second hand? Because he's not really posed any threat whatsoever on this lap, despite being within the DRS range of the 3 cars in front of him. I suppose in his mind, if he can't win the race, he knows his ERT teammate is doing so. All he has to do is pass these two in front of him, he'll finish second place. But now he's really having to back off because he's caught them at the worst place possible. And that's going to help Kieran catch up. And Kieran, he'll go for it. He will go for it. He hasn't won a race this season. He could do with every position he can possibly get.
I think you should watch the Gareth train further back, because he is defending like an absolute madman on this lap.
Look at the 4 cars in this. This is safety car run all over it if they're not careful.
Yeah, I agree. And Sullivan Lewis, he's made up 4 positions on this lap alone. What a lap he's had, all because of Gareth, who's, I don't know, maybe trying to help him, but I was on board with Sullivan for that, and he's made his way up to the back of Gareth somehow.
Yeah, look at Jordan. Oh my goodness, he's the quickest out of this whole train. He's got 1.
He is now.
He's got 2. Casper's got past these guys in the hards, but so is Kieran. He's got past Ben Harrett, and Casper's got past Ben Harrett and West. So there's still 1 car between Casper and Kieran. There's now no cars between Casper and Kieran. These two will fight this out to the line. This is going to be for second place. Back to the actual good fight, though. Jordan only got 1 of them then, didn't he? He only ended up ahead of Nick.
He got squeezed out by Risky on the exit of 3. That's why he
nice.
fell back to 12th. Nick and Jamie losing out because Nick was ahead of Gareth at one point, only a couple laps ago. And Jamie now starting to slow away or fade away from this group. Where's Jake O'Sullivan out of interest? P8. Does he still have that 5-second penalty? Hold on.
No, he took it in the pits, I think.
Okay, good stuff.
So Kieran gets past Casper very easily indeed. Is this going to be Casper thinking, I'll get him back on DRS? No. It looks like Kieran does have the genuine pace. He's got the 2 lap fresher tyres. obviously they're fresher than the two guys ahead. Corey's too far ahead. Unless Corey makes a mistake, gets a penalty, Kieran can't catch him. He's already ahead of Ben Shaw on the penalty, but he would quite like the insurance of having the one car between himself and Casper, and I would have thought that Ben Shaw would be happy to oblige.
You would have thought. Certainly, if you've been in the group chat, you'll see all the times that Ben Shaw has posted that photo of him crossing the line in Las Vegas and tagging Casper in it, so he'll certainly help Kieran out, but certainly not Casper. You've seen those, haven't you?
No.
No? Oh,
I haven't
so
actually.
inactive these days, it's very poor.
I don't use the internet, it's just not a me thing.
Oh, very well.
I barely know a race is happening. That's why I keep having to ask, is it my week this week? I don't remember.
There's no road to this season, it's just whoever asks me or whoever I ask.
Oh.
As Jake gets through past Arnout. This is your second appearance this season?
I know. And
I remember when you used to do the whole season.
Oh, it's not my fault. It's not my fault. You could have had me whenever you wanted me. That's going to age well. There's a really good fight happening for P8. Or P7, I should say, actually. Because MK Ball, remember him? He's just had a contact with Arnold. He's down to 9th now, Arnold. He must be hating every second of this race. And he'll love listening to back afterwards, because I've absolutely not supported him in the slightest of this. I think he's had a horrific strategy. And it's just a disaster, this. As Ben Harrett gets himself a penalty on an equally bad strategy. And there'll be a lot of people moaning at you for choosing this track this week, as Risky puts it into the wall on the exit of what corners is that? That'll be 6. That will be.
Yep.
All the way down to 15.
Too late
so he had
for
a
a
good
safety
lap
car,
a couple
though.
laps ago, but it's all come to nothing now.
Who's behind Corey then?
That would be OKK.
Okay, oh yes.
Who's keeping good with the pace, considering he's got 11 lap newer and softer tyres, but we'll not mention that. He could cause problems, and he wouldn't be meaning to. So could Yuri, and he probably would be meaning to.
Few final position changes and pit stops you're seeing here on the left-hand side of your screen. That Ben Shaw penalty, by the way, is going to put him potentially... it'd be only 4th, wouldn't it? Because of Ben Harrett's, but Waze could get close enough to move up, maybe. Been a very good race for him.
He'll have to overtake Ben and then make 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yep,
We're on the final lap, though.
Yep, that's my saying. It's 1 lap to go here in Austria. And Corey Dalton, by the way, not sponsored by Credit One Bank, but Corey is on his way to an 8th Cup Series win. We've somehow...
I'm not sure about that.
We've managed
Who's
to...
behind him?
We've managed to somehow get our way all the way through this race, despite our tiredness. But yes, here's Yuri overtaking, unlapping himself. Will he do a Riley Buys from Season 3? It appears not. Yuri shoots his way into the distance. And maybe we'll leave Corey to it for another day. Of course, it was Corey that gave Yuri the win those seasons ago. But it's been very calm, very controlled. He's already celebrating, Owen. And he'll be the first 2-time winner in the Cup Series this season. It's number 8 for Corey Dalton. JACKOCAR has its first repeat winner of the season, and it's Corey from Oxford, P1, with Kieran P2, and Casper will be P3. They did close up at the end, but that was just Corey celebrating and making sure he got to the end. Ben Shaw over the line 4th. His namesake was 5th, but will drop down. Waze ends up P5. Good result from him. Arnout 6th on the Joker. Ben Harrett 7th on his Joker. MK Bourne, who normally has his Joker here, is P8. Gareth is still finishing. With Nick behind. That completes your top 10. Jake O'Sullivan, another poor race. Bazza filling in. Yeah, a playoff point. Bazza moves up to 11th. Jordan Lane will come through 13th. We had 1 safety car.
2 safety cars.
We had 2 safety cars. I was expecting more. Maybe this is why Austria should be round 10.
Yeah, this is you've sort of dropped the ball with this one, I must say.
No thanks.
No one cares about this race now, don't they?
No, but it does pose the question: what is going to be round 10 this season? I mean, I could tell you.
As good as Austria, will it?
Oh, pardon me. It's better. It's better.
Have we done Monaco yet?
No, Monaco's next week.
Oh! Terrific.
Or is it?
As Jacko quickly changes his calendar.
Everyone accuses me of this. I don't change
Yeah.
the calendar.
Well, it doesn't help that you keep revealing what races are that they mysteriously aren't.
Oh,
We've not
be
done
quiet.
Canada yet either. So that'll be the last season, the race of the playoffs, right? Or the last race of the regular season,
Hold on.
obviously.
Let me get my pictures and I'll be with you. One more. There it is. Canada. Canada's in this calendar.
Yeah, so that'll be the end of the regular season then. If it isn't, you're an idiot. Because
Okay.
that'll be a great race for it.
Okay, noted.
It's about as random a race as we get. We've only ever had like one bad race there. You know what I mean? Gotta put it there.
Sorry, I was waiting to
Anyway,
cough. Anyway, round
shall
up.
we look at the
Corey,
results? Because
Corey Kieran and
has won.
Casper from the back of the grid. If there were a Driver of the Day award, it would surely go to him. Then Ben, then Waze, then on out and Ben Harrod and Mike and Gareth and Nick. I'm going to end this stream in the same way I started it, with very little energy. Then it was Bazza, then it was Jake, then Jordan, then Matt Lester, then it was Risky, then Jamie and Yori and OKK. And the two retirements, the Season 1 and the Season 3 champion, Pete Knighton and Khalifa El Khalifa. Oh, and Wyatt, thank you for your assistance, as they say in Germany.
Okay.
Thank you. I really have nothing else to add. It was sort of a straightforward race.
Yeah. Rare for Austria.
Very rare. It was fun, though. Another one in the books. If you don't have anything to add, we will end it here.
Goodbye, people. I don't know when you'll see me again. Depends if Jacko wants me still.
Oh, his heart breaks. You can hear it. I'm going to have to go and resuscitate him. Goodbye, everyone.